Well, I just started shooting a film, and then one of my allotment neighbours came along, and we're donating our old shed to him. So he stopped me mid-film. I think he probably thought I was having a fag on the quiet, but I wasn't. And anyway, I'm in the shed and just been thinking a lot about lots of different things. And the big thing that's on my mind is this kind of overwhelming desire to return to nature. And it's been a kind of a theme of ours, I guess, for the last 5 or 6 years. We've taken on the allotment because we don't have a garden where we live, and the allotment has brought us into contact with growing our own food, and all of that side of things. And we both want to keep livestock. We're both interested in raising chickens and keeping bees, etc. So really, it's just that I was thinking about the fact that years ago I grew up in a very rural community in a sort of round surrounded by farms, and when I was a young teenager I moved away. I decided to go to the city, in my case London, because life just wasn't stimulating enough where I lived, not for an 18-year-old. um, Thinking about it, because I don't believe in sort of living life regretfully. I don't think it serves any purpose. I think it can be very self-indulgent sometimes. Oh, I wish I'd done that, or I should have done this, and all that kind of thing. And it doesn't serve any purpose. You've just got to try every day to live the life that you really want to live, and manifest the things in your life that you really want in your life. Um, and sometimes it's easier to say that, and it's an even bigger challenge to make that happen. And I feel at the moment that my kind of working life and the life that I've got at the moment is very much along one path, and all these other things, the kind of arts and crafts things, the making stuff. I've been doing all kinds of little projects, just to remind me of the things that I kind of enjoy, and the things that really excite me, and keep me motivated, and make me sort of positive about the world. And I feel like all of those things, and the growing the plants and the growing our own food and wanting to keep animals, is all like on a completely different track. And I'm trying to bridge the two. I'm trying to draw threads and lines of connection between the two different existences, really, to try and make it a more consistent thing, if you like. And it's really difficult. So sometimes I feel, oh, that's the shed door. Sometimes I feel like I'm, like two different personalities. Um, it's very difficult, when you've got a working life, and you do a job, and you've got a career, and you're earning a living and all that kind of thing, and then you get to do all the things that you enjoy doing in the evenings, or on the weekends, and sometimes it just doesn't seem enough, those 2 days or whatever. I mean, life's all wrong, basically. It's like, we spend 5 days a week, if we're nuts anyway, we spend 5 days a week working and 2 days off. um, so somebody thought that up, didn't they? And they got a really good deal, out of us working folk. Um, so I have all these thoughts going on, and it just reminds me about the fact that everyday life is a challenge. And I'm not unique in this. I'm sure there are thousands and thousands and thousands, millions of people out there probably feeling and existing in the same way, that are trying to steer their life to a different direction. And I always draw that analogy. It's like, I think it's like an oil tanker or something. I think somebody once told me that it takes like 3 to 4 nautical miles or whatever it is for them to change direction. So you've got to put all these kind of processes and everything into effect before you are actually able to steer. And in the past, when I was a lot younger and a lot more impulsive, I would have probably chucked my job in just said, right, that's it, I quit, and I would have just thrown myself in another direction. And I've done that. I've done that in the past, and ultimately, I've always found work, and I've always found a job, and I guess I've landed on my feet. But sometimes it's not been easy. It's been really difficult to do that. But I think it gets harder to do that kind of thing when you get a bit older. Um, Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But it's a funny old thing. I'm just kind of thinking about that. I'm just thinking about all these things and about how I reverse the polarity of my life and change it so that I have a greater degree of time and energy in the outdoors, being in the outdoors, and kind of reduce the amount of work. And I've got some ideas. I've got some plans. If for instance, we can sell the house, then I might reduce my working week. I might actually be able to do that and then increase my kind of free time to do the planting, animal husbandry, arts, crafts, knife making, leather work, blacksmithing, whatever. And that's the plan. And I think sometimes somebody sort of told me once that it's the detail. The detail is what's important. You have to make a very detailed plan. It's never going to work if you just say, I wish I was, on a desert island or whatever, or I wish I was, out on the ocean in my kayak fishing. You've really got to make a plan to make it happen. You've really got to think about how you're going to afford it, make the time, how you will get there, how you will survive, how you'll pay your bills. It's all of this kind of process that you have to go through. And it's interesting. It's interesting, I think, to have these thoughts. I think I'm reminded that it's the journey. As much as I want to be at an end destination, it is the journey. It is how you get there. It is the people that you meet along the way. It is the experiences and the connections that you make along the way that ultimately are important and shape who you are, and also shape how you feel about where you get to, when you actually get there. And I think when you take that time and you are, that thorough about it, then when you actually get to where you think you want to be, you really feel good. It's a more complete kind of experience. So anyway, I'm on the plot. It's been good. I've only been here for a short while, but just watering the plants and checking what's growing and what's ready to fruit and all the rest of it, and doing a little bit of tidying up feels really good. Feels really positive. So with all that in mind, I'll speak soon, and I'll leave you all in peace. Take care.